Okay, let's talk about something that's, well, it's pretty frustrating. You've spent all this time and money on a powerful new AI assistant, right? But your team, they're just treating it like a plain old search bar. It's such a massive missed opportunity. So today, we're going to dig into why this is happening, and more importantly, I'll give you a clear plan to fix it.
So, you've launched this powerful new AI tool, but why are your users treating it like a simple search bar? Well, here's what's really going on. You've built them a research partner, but what do they see? A text box, and their brain just immediately defaults to decades of Google training, you know? They start typing in keywords, they're expecting a list of documents to sort through, but your AI is built to give them a single, synthesized answer. And that disconnect, right there, that's where all the confusion starts.
All right, so here's our game plan for today. We're going to start with what I call the expectation gap. Then we'll get really clear on search versus answer engines. After that, we'll talk about building professional trust, which is huge. We'll unlock the AI's real value. I'll give you a communication playbook you can use right away, and we'll wrap up with a look at the new toolkit this gives you.
Okay, Section 1, the AI expectation gap. So, what's at the heart of this whole issue? It really all boils down to a mismatch in how the tool is framed, right from that very first interaction.
This right here is the absolute root of the problem. The second you frame your AI as search, you've tied it to years and years of user habits. I mean, think about it. Professionals, researchers, clinicians, analysts, they're trained to find a list of credible sources that they can then dig into and analyze themselves. So when your fancy new tool just hands them a single clean answer, it feels wrong. It feels like a step was skipped, you know? And that creates skepticism, not confidence.
So, to really fix this, we have to get one thing straight. We're talking about two totally different kinds of tools here. So let's dive into Section 2, Search versus Answer Engines. The best way to think about this is like a division of labor. Over on the left, you've got traditional search. It's basically a document finder. It goes out, grabs the raw materials, the links, the PDFs, and then all the heavy lifting of reading, connecting, and synthesizing, well, that's on you. But on the right, the AI assistant is an answer engine. It does all that analysis up front for you and gives you a direct answer. It's a huge difference. One finds the files, the other finds the answer.
I love this analogy because it just makes it click. A search engine is like being handed a giant stack of maps and someone saying, "Good luck." An AI assistant, on the other hand, is like getting the turn-by-turn directions directly to your destination. See? Both can get you there, but they're completely different tools for totally different journeys.
Okay, so we've established the AI gives you a direct answer. But that leads to the next big question, right? Why should you, or anyone for that matter, actually believe it? Because for a professional, an answer without a source isn't really an answer. It's just an opinion. And that brings us to maybe the most critical piece of this entire puzzle, building trust with your users.
Check out this number, 42%. What is that? Well, that's the percentage of users who check at least one citation when an AI gives them an answer. And here's the interesting part. They don't even always have to click on it. Just seeing that little source number there acts as this powerful signal of trust. It's proof that the AI isn't just, making stuff up.
And that's exactly why that 44% matters so much. Without sources, a nice, concise answer can feel like a total black box. And for a professional, someone whose entire career is built on verifiable, solid information, a black box answer is not just useless, it's kind of suspicious, right? It goes against every instinct they have. They need to see the work. They need to be able to trace a claim back to where it came from. Without that ability, trust is pretty much impossible.
So how do we crack open that black box? Well, the key is a technology called Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG for short. Now, that sounds complicated, but here's the simple version. It means the AI isn't just roaming free on the wild, messy internet making things up. Instead, it's forced to go and retrieve information only from your specific, trusted library of documents. It has to find the proof first before it's allowed to generate an answer. You can think of it like a technical leash that keeps the AI firmly grounded in your reality.
And this all leads us to a really simple three-step bridge to building that trust. Step 1, always provide citations for every claim. Just show your work. Step 2, ground all the answers in your own vetted content, using that RAG technology we just talked about. And Step 3, make it super easy for users to click through and actually verify the original source themselves. That's it. It's a simple process, but it builds incredible confidence because it respects how your users already work.
Okay, so once we've built that foundation of trust, now we can get to the fun part. We can finally unlock the AI's real value. Let's talk about the superpowers that make this thing so much more than just another search bar.
If there's one single superpower that a true AI assistant has, it's this: synthesis. I mean, think about it. It can read 10, 50, 100, even 1,000 different reports in seconds, pull out the most relevant pieces from each one, and then weave them all together into a single, coherent answer. It does all that tedious work of cross-referencing that would take a human researcher hours, maybe even days. And this isn't just about saving time. It's about creating a deeper, more holistic understanding that you could never get from just one document alone.
And the impact of that superpower? It's huge. Studies show that knowledge workers can spend nearly a third of their day, 30%, just searching for information. Look at this chart. That bar for traditional search and reading, it's massive. The AI assistant slashes that time way down, giving professionals back their most valuable resource of all, time to actually think.
Here's another game changer. You can ask it anything. The AI understands natural language, so your users can finally stop that frustrating game of keyword foraging. Where you try a dozen different word combinations, hoping to strike gold. Forget that. They can just ask a real, complex, conversational question, just like they'd ask a colleague. And the AI gets it. It understands the intent behind the words, not just the keywords.
This analogy just absolutely nails it. It's like having a research intern who has already read everything on your site. Every report, every manual, every study in your entire library. And they're just sitting there, waiting for you to ask a question. That's the value proposition. It's not just a tool. It's a partner that does all the grunt work for you.
Okay, this all sounds great in theory, but how do you actually put it into practice? Let's move on to your communication playbook. Because knowing the AI's value is one thing, but you've got to communicate it effectively. Here's how to do it.
The golden rule here is show, don't tell. Don't just list features, give people concrete examples that are tailored to their actual jobs. For example, tell a researcher, hey, you can ask it to summarize key findings on a topic across all of our publications. Or a clinician, ask it for the best practices for working with a specific population. A policy analyst, ask it to compare how an intervention is described in 3 different toolkits. These kinds of examples immediately signal, hey, this is for real, complex questions, not just for finding a PDF.
And this communication needs to be baked right into the user interface itself. Little things make a huge difference. First, label it clearly, AI Research Assistant, not search. Second, show some of those powerful example questions right there in the interface. Third, use a different icon. Ditch the magnifying glass for a chat bubble or a brain icon. And finally, add a little line of text to reassure users that all the answers are sourced directly from your vetted content. These small UI cues are incredibly powerful. They build the right mental model before your user even types a single character.
So when you put all of this together, the trust building, the communication, the UI tweaks, you're doing more than just launching a new tool. You are fundamentally upgrading the entire way your team interacts with information.
And that really is the big shift here. Think about it. For decades, our tools were designed to just deliver the raw materials. They gave us the documents, and the assumption was that the human would do all the hard work of analysis. But now, the AI does that heavy lifting up front. It does the reading, the connecting, the synthesizing, and that frees up the human to focus on what we do best, the higher-level strategy and decision-making.
And here's what that shift looks like in practice in a professional's workday. You see that big slice of the pie? That 30% of the day that's just spent on information gathering? The AI shrinks that slice way, way down. And this doesn't just make people faster. It fundamentally changes the nature of their work. It lets them spend so much more time on the analysis and strategy, the parts where they actually create the most value.
So that brings us right back to where we started, and it leaves you with a choice. Is your AI just going to be another search bar, or is it going to be a true research assistant that actually empowers your users? The technology's already here. The real difference is in how you frame it, how you build that trust, and how you communicate its value. If you get those pieces right, you can transform what might be a confusing tool into an absolutely indispensable partner for every single person on your team.